The Jacksonville Jaguars have made some news in the football world. They have hired former Florida and Ohio State head football coach Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer is the third best winning percentage in all of college football. His record is 187-32. Meyer first started head coaching at Bowling Green, Utah, Florida, and then he finished in Ohio State. He was there until 2018, where he retired a second time, the first time he retired after the 2010 season with Florida. He won 3 national championships in 2006, 2008, and 2014. After retiring at Ohio State, he was working for Fox College Game Day for doing pre-games. The 3-time college football coach champion will have a tough job ahead of him as he takes over a struggling franchise in the Jaguars. First question is this the right hire for the Jags? Absolutely. I didn't see this coming. I thought Jacksonville was going to hire a coordinator in the NFL or a former head coach who coached in pro football, but obviously I was wrong. But wherever Urban Meyer has been coaching, he has turned to gold. I mean, if you go back to Bowling Green, they were good. Utah, they were good. That's where people discovered Alex Smith. He was eventually the number 1 overall pick and had a pretty nice career in the NFL. Florida, of course, he won 2 national championships, recruited Tim Tebow. A lot of people consider him the greatest college football player of all time. I don't, but I think Tim Tebow was great. But that was a great recruit. And then he won a championship at Ohio State by beating Alabama to get into the national title, and then he smacked down Oregon. So I think Urban Meyer is an excellent coach. He's got the 3rd best winning coach in college, or winning percentage in college football. That's unbelievable. So I absolutely think this is a great hire for Jacksonville. It's just going to be tough because I feel like Shad Khan still has roster control, and I'm not sure Urban Meyer is going to like that. And maybe that will change. But Urban Meyer, and of course, a lot of college coaches that have made the leap to the NFL haven't had success. However, Pete Carroll, one of the outliers, ended up winning a Super Bowl with Seattle. He did very well in the NFL, but most people that go from college to the NFL don't do well, including Nick Saban, who's probably the greatest college football coach of all time. How successful will Meyer be in the NFL? I think he can do well. He just needs to find his quarterback, which I think it's going to be Trevor Lawrence, which I don't know now that Justin Fields is available, and he coached Justin Fields at one time. But anyways, I think he'll be successful. I don't think they'll make the playoffs in his first year. I think they'll probably go 7-9 or 8-8, maybe 6-10. But I could definitely see him making the playoffs in his second year. It just could be, it depends on who he picks up, who he drafts, and how much roster control he has. Will Jacksonville make the postseason this year? I don't think so. They were 1-15 last year. They were the worst team in the league, one of the worst teams in the league ever. So I don't think they make the playoffs. If they win 4 or 5 games, I think that's a celebration. And I'm assuming they're going to win about 7 or 8, which is going to be awesome. And I don't think they're going to make the playoffs because the AFC South is very tough. We know the AFC South is not the NFC East. So I do think they'll have they'll have a 7 or 8 win season. I just don't think they'll make the postseason, at least in the first year. I think they do in the second year. Why did Meyer take the job? Well, I mean, I think it was 12. I think it's $12 million a year, which I think that really sparked his interest. I mean, if you offer someone $12 million a year to coach, I think that's going to definitely they're definitely going to give it some thought. I think he's had success almost everywhere, and I think he wants to prove that he can do it in the NFL as well. And I mean, he's 56 years old. He's still got some years ahead of him. I just think he wants to prove that he can do well in Jacksonville. I mean, $12 million a year is solid. And of course, he knows Florida. I mean, almost everybody in Florida loves him unless you're a Florida State fan. So I do think he took the job just because he wanted to have success in the NFL, and it's in Florida. Does Urban Meyer draft Trevor Lawrence or his former quarterback, Justin Fields? I think he's going to draft Trevor Lawrence. At the end of the day, Lawrence is just the better prospect, even though Justin Fields is a great one as well. I just think Trevor Lawrence at the end of the day is better, and I think you can't really. I mean, it comes down to talent. Trevor Lawrence probably has the most talents we've ever seen anybody come out of college football since probably John Elway. So I think just Trevor Lawrence is the better quarterback overall. So I think he'll draft him, even though I think you'll see a few Ohio State players select because the Jaguars do have a lot of draft picks. Will a lot of players want to go to Jacksonville now that Urban Meyer is the head coach? Only time will really tell. Urban Meyer is a great recruiter, and he's a great persuader, but I'm just not sure players want to go to Jacksonville as of now. I think they need to start winning a few games for people to come. I think in his second year, Urban Meyer's second year, or at least next year in free agency in 2022, I think people will say, oh, Jacksonville won 7 games last year. Urban Meyer's a very good coach. Let's go down there. And of course, Jacksonville, the weather usually is pretty nice. There's no sales tax. I mean, it's pretty relaxed down there. So I feel like after his first year and going on to his second year, players will want to or be more tempted to join him in with the Jaguars. And last but not least, does Shad Khan still have roster control? I think that's kind of the big question right now. And I don't know if anybody really knows, including Shad Khan. He said he was going to have roster control, and then he hires Urban Meyer, who we all know likes to have control of his teams. That if you go back to Florida and Ohio State. So I'm going to assume he doesn't, just because if he hired Urban Meyer, I don't think Urban Meyer would have taken it if he couldn't have control of the team. Maybe Shad Khan and Urban Meyer split the decisions, but I feel like Shad Khan won't have full control over the team, because I don't think Urban Meyer would have taken it if he didn't have any type of control. So I think they both kind of share it. Thanks for listening to the Sports Town Podcast, or the STP Pod for short. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and much more. We release new episodes every Wednesday and Friday. Also, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Sportstown Podcast. If you want to check out more videos of the Sportstown Podcast, click on the left. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click on the right.